So during the holidays, there's a lot of stress and higher risk factors. So we don't necessarily say that domestic violence occurs or is caused by the holiday stress and things like that. But there are a number of risk factors that increase the likelihood and availability. You have a lot of family tension and violence can occur when there are periods of, because domestic violence is essentially about command and control, power and control. One person trying to exert power and control over another person. And so during the holidays, as financial stress and family stress can occur, there can be so many things that feel out of control for someone. So focusing the need for control on a partner can be a higher risk factor. Children are at home, family pressures and stress can all contribute to, but at the end of the day, people choose the kind of behavior that they're exhibiting, and so we don't want to create communities or expectations that there are excuses for abuse, because there are none. When people often say, why doesn't someone just leave? Well, the holidays are supposed to be a time there are intense kind of social expectations that it's a time for family to be together. And what parent wants to disrupt Christmas for their children? So why would I leave an abusive home because they're supposed to be home during the holidays and around friends and family? So it can be a very isolating and lonely period for survivors, and a lot of fear over, if I were to leave an abusive relationship, where would I go? How would I seek help? Who's going to provide safety and security, food, a roof over my head for myself and my children? That can be a really scary time. And there may be a hope that the holidays may be the time when the abuse lessens. So maybe it'll be peaceful this time. Maybe violence won't spoil things for us. So maybe this is a time where behavior will change. And there may be a kind of honeymoon period where an abusive partner is trying to hold the family together and isn't abusive. But let's not assume that that pattern won't continue at some point. So understanding that domestic violence is about power and control, and if you're not feeling safe, there are resources, there are places that are available to you no matter what time of year. So it could be New Year's Eve, it could be Christmas Eve. Our 24-hour helpline is available because we never know when someone is going to need a safe person to talk to or a safe place to go. There may be periods such as the holidays or in the summer when kids are out of school and there's a bit of disruption and sometimes a lot more chaos in the home than normal, that we do find people seeking support and services. It's cold outside and people don't necessarily want to leave the comfort and safety, the physical safety of their own home or perceived safety of their home, because I don't want to be out on the street in the cold. And so we want to remind people that at all times, 24/7, YWCA is here to support survivors, but resources can be scarce. Actually, the time shortly after the holidays can be more disruptive and scary for people. During the holidays, there are lots of people that are in that kind of giving spirit, so lots of resources and support, and charity giving tends to be at its highest around the holidays. But after the holidays, abuse is still continuing. So how do we make sure that resources, supports are available for people after the giving spirit has subsided a bit? Because life is still happening for people throughout the community. I think recognizing and just being present and caring and letting people know that you're here, that you're there for them, matters so much. Oftentimes if survivors are disclosing to friends or family, our response to their disclosure may be the difference between whether they seek help or they don't. So if I sense that my sister is going to believe me when I tell her that I'm afraid or that I'm worried about what my husband or my boyfriend may do to my children, if my sister sees me, hears me and says, you didn't deserve this, I want you to be safe, I want you to be happy, you deserve to be with someone who loves, respects, and appreciates you and your children, that response can mean the world. And if the person I trust responds with comfort and care, the person that I've never met before at a shelter or at a service program, I'm much more likely to reach out. So just know that I see you, I care about you, I want you to be safe, and giving people an opportunity to reach out and disclose in a way that is most meaningful for them. can be really challenging if someone doesn't want, you suspect something may be happening, or they don't see themselves, or they don't seem safe, but aren't making a choice to change their circumstances. That has to be okay, because domestic violence is, again, about power and control. So taking power away from a victim or survivor and making choices for them is a dangerous thing. That's just another pattern of control that doesn't get them out of an abusive relationship or out of abusive patterns. So being able to say, you get to choose, and you can choose something that is different for you at a time and a place that is most meaningful for you. One of the things that we know is the most dangerous time for a domestic violence survivor is the time they choose to leave. That's when most domestic violence homicides happen. So when a survivor says, I can't leave, if I leave, this is going to happen, we have to believe them. They are experts in their own lives, and they know their partners better than anyone. So our goal is to have conversations about, if you are choosing to stay, how can we help you feel more safe, be more safe in your home, whether it's an emergency cell phone hidden in the house, so if you have to run to another room, you have access to a phone to call someone for help. It may be having financial resources and doing some safety planning that says, I want to leave, but I have to have all my ducks in a row. What does that take, and how can I help you do that? If there's a need for a personal protection order or some kind of exit strategy, so that when you do find that opportunity to leave, you can gather all of your important documents and your kids are safe. Whatever that safety planning looks like, to let them guide that conversation and take the steps that they believe are going to be most meaningful for them. But it can be really hard when you feel like this person needs to leave today and they are giving you reasons not to. How can I stay connected? So whatever decision you make, know that I am never going to leave your side. I am always here with you to support you, no matter what choices you make. I think domestic violence thrives. Isolation is one of the mechanisms for power and control. If I can cut you off from all of your friends, all of your family, all of your coworkers, and the only human connection you have is to me as an abusive partner, we often see survivors who are in fact cutting off ties to church groups, to friends, to family. And sometimes those gentle gestures of sending a letter, sending a card, just kind of passing by the house and saying, hey, just wanted to see how you're doing. Neighbors are wonderful at that when folks are out walking their dog, to just say, hey, just was walking the dog and wanted to walk by and say hello. Just letting them know that we may not have the same regular contact that we used to. We may not have lunch together all the time, but I am thinking of you. I am respectful of the boundaries that you are setting for whatever reason you're setting them, but I'm laying eyes on you and sending good support, good energy through a letter, a phone call, a text, an email. There's so many ways that we can make our presence known, even if we're not using words. And sometimes just knowing that as I am in this kind of isolated, really lonely place, that gentle reminder through a text may be all the reminder I need to know that the situation that I'm in isn't inevitable, that there are people out there who care about me, and when I am ready to reach out to them, they are making themselves available, and I know they'll be there, and I trust that they'll be there when I call. Right, so contacting, again, the YWCA and other domestic violence agencies throughout the state are really available 24/7. There is a statewide domestic violence helpline. So if you call that helpline wherever you are in the state of Michigan, they can talk to you, they can safety plan with you, and help you get connected with resources in your own community, no matter where you are. So finding us online, on our website, or through our 24-hour helpline, that helpline is there not just for victims and survivors, but people who have questions. It may be 2 o'clock in the morning and you left a party, and I just saw my sister last night and I'm really worried and I don't know what to say to her, but I don't know what to do. Can you talk me through how do I have that conversation to be a support for you? Or my cousin went to an emergency shelter and I haven't heard from her. How do I find out if she's safe? Is there something that I can do to support her? Or I reached out and that person didn't want to talk to me, didn't want to have help, but I'm still worried. What can I do? Because every circumstance is different. I wish there was a checklist of things that you could do step by step to ensure the safety of someone you care about, but it's different for each person. So encouraging folks to contact 24-hour helplines to, we have a chat function on our website, so if maybe talking to someone in real time is uncomfortable and there's a bit of safety in a digital kind of conversation, that's available as well. We want to be as accessible and present wherever you happen to be to meet you where you are. And learn about the resources that are available. We've encouraged people, if you've volunteered with us, spread the word so that people know what to expect when they come to a place. Because shelter can be a scary place. It's congregant living. Who wants to leave the home they've been in for 20 years and go to a shelter with a bunch of strangers that they've never met? Anything that we can do to demystify what it's like to reach out for help and to let you know that it is okay, that you are not alone. It doesn't have to be a scary experience, and we will take whatever time you need. We've had survivors who have left shelter and feel like, I could never go back. We will be here as many times as you need. It's not unusual for people who are trying to get out of abusive relationships. It may take 7 to 8 times before it's a permanent break. So we understand that it takes time to make those really difficult decisions, but we want you to know that whatever safety looks like for you, that's the presence that we want to have.